At 7 p.m. on November the 30th, 1948, John Bain Lyons and his wife were enjoying a leisurely evening ride along Somerton Beach, a charming seaside retreat just outside Adelaide, Australia. As they strolled, they couldn't help but notice a solitary figure leaning against the seawall approximately 60 feet away. The man's posture struck them as peculiar. His legs were extended before him, and he seemed to lift his right arm weakly before letting it fall back down to the ground. Later, another couple ambled along the seawall around 7:30 p.m. and encountered the same man in a similar state. Despite the pesky mosquitoes buzzing around his face, the man remained motionless. In jest, the couple speculated that he might appear dead, jokingly suggesting that's why he didn't shoo away the insects. However, they presumed he was merely intoxicated and decided to continue on their way. The following morning, John Lyons, the same individual who had first observed the mysterious figure the previous evening, returned to the beach for a refreshing swim. Accompanied by a friend, Lyons encountered a group of horseback riders near the seawall, where the enigmatic man had been spotted the night before. Curiosity piqued, Lyons and his companion approached the group, only to discover the figure was still laying in the same position as the previous evening. Sensing something amiss, Lyons quickly realized the gravity of the situation and promptly alerted the authorities, initiating a swift response from the police. One of the fascinating points in this case of the Somerton Man is that his identity would not be revealed for nearly 70 years. Even with lots of misleading evidence that would follow, these only gave more questions, not answers. Welcome to What's That Behind You, the channel where we explore the unexplained, the eerie, and the downright spine-chilling. If you have ever felt a shiver down your spine when you're alone in the dark, or if you've ever wondered about the mysterious shadows lurking just out of sight, then you've come to the right place. Join us on a journey into the unknown as we delve into the world of paranormal phenomena, urban legends, and unsolved mysteries. From ghostly encounters to strange sightings, from haunted places to legendary creatures, we'll leave no stone unturned in our quest for answers. But beware, as we uncover the secrets of the supernatural, you may find yourself looking over your shoulder more often. So sit back, turn down the lights, and prepare to discover the truth behind the things that go bump in the night. Welcome to What's That Behind You, where fear meets fascination. When the police arrived, they discovered what was jokingly observed the night before. The man stretched out against the seawall, unfortunately, had passed away. The deceased individual found on Somerton Beach possessed distinctive physical characteristics that added layers of complexity to this investigation. Standing at around 5'11", he had a relatively tall stature. His eyes were a striking shade of grey, contributing to a unique appearance. The man's hair was noticeable, described as a mix of orange with grey patches along the sides. Additionally, his hair was slicked back in the front, perhaps indicative of a particular grooming style. And although an exact age couldn't be determined, estimates placed him between 40 and 50 years old, suggesting a mature individual. The deceased weighed between 165 to 175 pounds, or 75 to 80 kilos, providing further context to his physical build. His dental records revealed significant dental issues, including the loss of 18 teeth. Of particular note were the absence of 2 lateral incisors, which had never grown due to a genetic disorder. He had small scars that were observed on his left wrist and left elbow, possibly indicating previous injuries or medical procedures. Remarkably, his hands and feet were found to be clean and free of sores, suggesting a lack of engagement in manual labour or rigorous physical activities. These details offered valuable insights into the life and habits of this deceased individual, contributing to the ongoing investigation into his identity and the circumstances surrounding his death. Several items were found in the possession of the deceased, including an unused train ticket from Adelaide to Henley Beach, a bus ticket from Adelaide to Glenlig, fruit-flavoured chewing gum, Bryant and May matches, an aluminium comb. Additionally, a packet of Army Club cigarettes and 7 Kensitas cigarettes were also discovered, suggesting a mix of common and higher-end brands. The deceased was found dressed in a suit and heeled shoes, although the labels indicating the manufacturer had been intentionally removed from the clothing. This deliberate act raised suspicion and added more complexity to the investigation. The preliminary findings provided valuable clues, but also raised additional questions, particularly regarding the possibility of poisoning and the deliberate removal of labels from the clothing. These details served as a foundation for further investigation. Efforts aimed at unraveling the mystery surrounding the man's identity and the events leading to his untimely demise. The comprehensive autopsy conducted the following day unveiled further intriguing details about the deceased individual. The man's leg muscles were notably high and toned, suggesting a level of physical conditioning consistent with someone who regularly wore high-heeled shoes. This is possibly indicative of a ballet dancer. His feet were also observed to be oddly pointed, further supporting the hypothesis of this habitual use of such footwear. The man's pupils were smaller than normal, indicating potential physiological anomalies or drug-related effects. The autopsy revealed significant abnormalities in the man's internal organs. His spleen was found to be 3 times larger than normal and also congested, whilst his liver exhibited damage from a blood clot. Additionally, an increased amount of blood was discovered in his stomach, along with the remnants of a paste-like substance. There was a poisoning hypothesis. These findings strengthened suspicions of poisoning as a potential cause of death. However, laboratory tests failed to detect any trace of any known poison in the man's system, including in the paste-like substance that was found in his stomach. Pathologist John Dwyer expressed surprise at finding no detectable toxins, while coroner Thomas Cleland proposed the possibility of 2 deadly poisons, digitalis, that could swiftly affect the body without leaving a trace. As the investigation progressed, it became evident that the circumstances surrounding the man's death were far from straightforward. Despite efforts by law enforcement, including the circulation of fingerprints and publication of photographs in the Australian newspapers, no leads emerged to identify the mysterious individual. Relatives of missing people came forward, but none could possibly identify him. Remarkably, no official records seemed to match his description, and no individuals reported missing fit his profile. The investigation into the identity of the mysterious man found on Somerton Beach took a significant turn when a brown suitcase, abandoned in the cloakroom of Adelaide railway station on November the 30th, surfaced as a potential lead. Despite efforts to recall details about the individual who left the suitcase, the passage of time had rendered the staff unable to provide any useful information. However, upon inspecting the contents of the suitcase, investigators made a crucial discovery: a reel of orange barber yarn, a rare type not commonly found in Australia. This thread bore a striking resemblance to the orange thread used to mend the pocket of the unknown man's trousers, providing a compelling link between the abandoned suitcase and the deceased individual. With this crucial piece of evidence, it became increasingly likely that the suitcase indeed belonged to the Somerton Man. The discovery of the suitcase not only established a tangible connection to the unidentified man, but also underscored the possibility that he had been travelling, as suggested by his attire not suitable for the local weather or location. This development injected renewed momentum into the investigation. Despite initial hopes sparked by the discovery of the abandoned suitcase at Adelaide Railway, further investigation yielded disappointing results. The deliberate removal of labels from the suitcase and garments obscured their origin and thwarted attempts to trace their ownership. Among the few remaining tags was the name T. Keane. Yet inquiries into individuals bearing this name failed to produce any significant leads. The police speculated that the tags were intentionally left behind, perhaps to mislead investigators, as it was evident that the deceased's man was not T. Keane. These tags were particularly notable, as they were the only labels that couldn't be removed without damaging the garments, suggesting a deliberate attempt to obscure the man's identity. Additionally, the contents of the suitcase included items that hinted at the deceased's potential occupation or activities. The presence of a stencil kit typically used for marking cargo on merchant ships, a cutting table knife, an ale card for international communication added intriguing dimensions to the investigation. However, despite these clues, the ultimate goal of identifying the mysterious individual remained elusive. The discovery of the suitcase initially raised hopes of uncovering the identity of the Somerton Man. However, months passed without any significant breakthroughs, until April 1949, when Professor John Cleland, a pathology expert, was brought in to re-examine the body. Cleland's examination led to a startling discovery. A small pocket sewn into the waistband of the man's trousers, containing a lightly folded piece of paper. On this paper were written the words, Tamam Shud, in meticulous detail, a Persian phrase that was found on the last page of the popular 12th century book of poetry, Amar Khayyam Rubaiyat. The discovery of the cryptic message on the tightly folded piece of paper, hidden within the Somerton man's trousers, sparked intense speculation and debate. Many questions arose regarding the circumstances surrounding his death again. Some speculated that the presence of the hidden message suggested a possible suicide. Did the Somerton man intentionally conceal this message as a final communication before taking his own life? The timing of his actions on November the 30th, along with the deliberate removal of all identification from his person and possessions, added weight to this theory. The themes of love, life, and death prevalent in the poetry books fueled speculation about the Somerton man's emotional state. Could he have been grappling with the heartbreak or other emotional turmoil, ultimately leading to thoughts of suicide? The police's search for copies of the Rubaiyat with a matching fancy typeset found on the scrap paper yielded no results, despite efforts expanding to libraries, bookshops, publishing houses, and eventually worldwide. However, on July the 23rd, 1949, a breakthrough occurred when a man from the town of Glenelg, located just north of Somerton Beach, brought a copy of the book to the Adelaide police station. Remarkably, the last page of the book containing the text, Tamam Shud, had been torn out, matching the font of the scrap paper found with the deceased individual. Further examination revealed that the torn piece of paper found in the book perfectly matched the one discovered on the Somerton man's person. Upon inspection, the man from Glenelg explained that he and his brother-in-law had stumbled upon the copy of the book while parked near the Somerton beach. In a curious twist of fate, both men mistakenly believed the other had placed the book in the car, leading the man to absent-mindedly place it on the dashboard. It wasn't until he saw a news report about the police's search for the book that the man realized he possessed this crucial piece of evidence. This unexpected revelation provided a significant breakthrough in the investigation, shedding new light on the mysterious circumstances surrounding the Somerton man's death and the cryptic message found in his possession. The discovery of the unknown man's unique copy, from which he had torn the hidden message, posed a perplexing puzzle for detectives. Despite its significance, the book provided little in the way of concrete leads. Investigations into the book's origins led to dead ends, with no other copies of its formal found anywhere in the world. The book was believed to be published by a New Zealand chain called Whitcomb and Tombs, but subsequent inquiries revealed that this particular format had never been published by them. This raised the baffling question: where did the Somerton Man acquire such a singular and elusive copy of a popular book? Detective Sergeant Lionel Lean refused to dismiss the book as devoid of additional clues, and conducted a meticulous examination. He discovered faint traces of handwriting on the back cover and detected hidden letters using ultraviolet light. These letters formed 5 lines, with the second line being cut once, suggesting the possibility of a code. The police discovered and also traced 2 telephone numbers written in the book, one leading to a bank, and the other leading to a nurse named Jessica Thompson, who lived near Somerton Beach. Despite the significance of this discovery, Jessica was hesitant to cooperate with the police, and they respected her privacy by withholding her identity for several decades, referring to her as only Justine. It was later revealed that Jessica was involved in a relationship with a man she would eventually marry, and she seemed reluctant to divulge details, possibly due to her connection to the Somerton Man. The revelation that Jessica Thompson, also known as Justine, had been given a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man named Alfred Boxall added a new layer of complexity to the investigation. Jessica, a former army nurse, recalled meeting Boxall during the war, where she presented him with the book containing a line of her poetry signed with her nickname. Initially, the police believed that Alfred Boxall might be the unidentified individual, but it was later discovered that the version of the Rubaiyat Jessica had given him differed from the one found in possession of the deceased man, leading to further disappointment and confusion to her investigators. With leads proving fruitless, Jessica was brought to the police station to view the body. Upon seeing the face of the deceased, she exhibited a stunned and fainting look, leaving Detective Sergeant Lean and others puzzled by her reaction, despite only being shown a replica of the man's face made of plaster of Paris rather than the real. Jessica's response raised suspicions amongst investigators and observers alike. Many believed that Jessica recognized the man but continued to deny any connection with him. Additionally, Jessica revealed that neighbors had informed her of a man searching for her in her absence the previous year, although she was uncertain of the exact date. This new piece of information added another layer, further deepening the mystery surrounding the man and his possible connection to Jessica Thompson. Despite Jessica Thompson's refusal to provide any significant information, investigators focused their efforts on deciphering the mysterious code found within the Rubaiyat. Only 4 short lines of code seemed potentially useful, yet breaking it proved to be an insurmountable challenge. Naval intelligence was enlisted to aid in deciphering the code, but even their expertise failed to yield results. Frustrated by the code's complexity, investigators turned to the alternative methods, including publishing the code in newspapers in the hope that amateur sleuths might succeed. As interest in the case intensified, the world's top codebreakers were summoned to lend their expertise in cracking the enigmatic code. Despite these efforts, the code remained unbroken, shrouding the investigation in further mystery. The Navy's analysis suggested that the code was likely in English, and that the lines represented the initial letters of words in a poetic verse. However, despite this insight, efforts to decode the message ultimately reached a dead end. Despite the best efforts of those involved in the investigation, the true meaning behind the enigmatic code remained elusive, leaving the mystery surrounding the Somerton Man unresolved. The inability to decipher the code added yet another layer. The investigation into the Somerton Man's mysterious death concluded with more questions than answers. Despite extensive efforts by law enforcement, intelligence agencies, and amateur sleuths, the true identity of the man and the circumstances surrounding his demise remained shrouded in mystery. The prevailing theory that the Somerton Man may have been a spy adds layers of complexity to this case. Many clues, including the presence of a rare poison and the enigmatic code found in the Rubaiyat, suggest the possibility of espionage. However, without concrete evidence linking the man to an intelligence activities, this remains speculative. The discovery of the unique copy, believed to be a one-off pad used by a spy group, further fuels speculation about the man's connections to the clandestine operations. The indecipherable code found within the book suggests a sophisticated method of communication. The deliberate removal of labels from the man's clothing and possessions adds another puzzling aspect to the case. While it could be interpreted as an attempt to conceal his identity, it may also be attributed to common practices during wartime, where individuals marked their belongings for identification. Despite the intriguing clues, the mystery of the Somerton Man endures. The lack of definitive answers regarding his identity, the nature of his death, and his possibilities to the espionage leave the case open to speculation and fascination. As time passes, the enigma of the Somerton Man continues to captivate the imagination of both investigators and the public alike. As we conclude our exploration into the darkness, we hope that you've enjoyed this journey into the heart of mystery and intrigue. Remember, the paranormal world is vast and ever-evolving, so be sure to subscribe to What's That Behind You for more thrilling adventures and spine-tingling investigations. If you found this video captivating, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends who share your fascination for the unknown. Your support helps us continue to uncover the secrets of the supernatural. Thank you for joining us on this hair-raising adventure. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your senses sharp. For now, you don't have to be afraid of what's behind you.